How's it going, everyone? This is the Anime Man. Throughout the 7, coming up to 8 years that I've been doing this whole anime YouTube thing, I've had the absolute privilege to travel all across the world to different countries, to different anime conventions, and seeing all of you guys. And I guess in order to fully understand the context of today's video and how this video came to be, I have to tell you guys a story of the first time that Aki and I went to Finland. We were invited to AnimeCon Suomi, which is a tiny little convention in the middle of nowhere in Finland. And we had never been to Europe before, we had never been to Finland before, so we were like, you know what? Let's go. Seems fun. Because why else would I go to Finland? No offense, Finland. And we absolutely loved it there. It was a tiny convention, but so many beautiful Finnish mofos came up to us and were just loving it, basically. It was just having a grand old time. And I remember Aki and I were doing a panel, and there was one particular question we brought up, which was, well, what is the most famous anime that's ever been made? Now, I'll give you a couple of seconds to think about the answer to that question, because I found out that the answer is not as straightforward as it seems. Because as someone who has researched the history of anime and has been really passionate about going into how all this anime thing started, the answer to said question would most likely be, and I'm assuming you probably have answered, Astro Boy, since not only was it the first televised anime series ever made, but it basically laid the foundations for what anime was to become 10, 15, 50 years down the road, essentially. And so I said that at a panel, and the amount of confused looks of all these Finnish fans, all these Finnish anime fans, was rather interesting. And after the panel, during my signing and Q&A session, I said to all the Finnish fans, what's the most famous anime to you guys? Because when I said Astro Boy, you guys looked at me like, what is this Astro Boy you speak of? And almost 90% of all people that were there, different genders, different age groups, different generations, they all collectively came together and said, well, in Finland, the most famous anime ever is Weed. Weed, like the really old 80s manga about the dog, the one that's been going on for like 50 plus volumes. Weed is considered the most famous anime in Finland. And I just found that prospect really interesting, and it got me thinking, well, if that's the case, then maybe the same thing also applies to every other country out there in the world. And so when I brought this question up to the folks over at MyAnimeList, they were very quickly on board with the idea. And in order to fully understand the mysteries behind this supposed most famous anime ever according to different countries, the folks over at MyAnimeList gave me some super top secret data for me to share with you guys. Now, this is data that, although is constructed upon all the data that has been collected on MyAnimeList, it is data that is not public for viewing until now. See, what I asked the folks over at MyAnimeList to do was to basically go into their database, collect all this information from different users who are from different countries, and essentially gather all of that together to figure out what the top 3 anime series is in every single country that has been registered on MyAnimeList. Now, granted, not every country has access to MyAnimeList, so of course this isn't going to be every single country out there, but from what I am understanding, it's a pretty large collection. So without further ado, let's dive into it. Here is the top 3 anime in every country according to MyAnimeList.net ratings. By the way, I want to give a quick shout out to my buddy KRUST, who helped me actually create the visuals for this particular data. It made things a lot more interesting than me having to show you this really boring list of numbers and letters, and so big shout out to him. Go check out his channel, links in the description. And also, because my buddy Kevin made the visuals, I also have no idea about these results. This is the first time that I am looking at this as well, so we're gonna kind of explore this together to basically see, well, in this country the top 3 may be this, but what about in this country, and so on and so forth. So if you're watching this from across the pond, wherever you are in the world, you might see the country of your residence here on this list as well. So you might also be interested, what is the top 3 anime in my country? And so here is the list right here. Obviously, it's a lot, so I'm gonna zoom in on that real quick. This is it in alphabetical order, starting from A, going all the way down to Y in Yemen. Now, for starters, you're probably wondering, well, how are we determining these top 3? Essentially, what MyAnimeList has done is they've not only taken what each user of that country has rated the anime out of 10, but also the amount of favorites that that anime has gotten as well, because a truly popular anime on MyAnimeList, at least according to MyAnimeList, is one that not only has gotten a score that is closest to 10 out of 10, but also has been favorited by the users, and I think that completely makes a lot of sense. So essentially we've gathered all of this information and just mashed it all together into one, hopefully very easy to read table right here. But just looking right now at these first 16 entries from Albania, Algeria, Argentina, Australia, represent, Austria, Azerbaijan, Bahamas, Bahrain, Bangladesh, Belarus, Belgium, Belize, so many countries. It is completely different what each country has given as the most popular anime according to their user base. I mean, for starters, let's look at Australia, because that's where I'm from. Number 1 is Fullmetal Alchemist with a 9. I mean, wow, first of all, Australia's got some harsh critics. Like, I've noticed here that Albania's Gintama has a 9.3, almost a 9.4. Algeria's Hunter x Hunter 2011 with a 9.2. Argentina's Fullmetal Alchemist with a 9.2, almost 9.3. Australia, for some reason, very harsh. Even number 1 is just sliding into a 9. And then number 2 is Koi no Katachi, and number 3 is Hunter x Hunter 2011. So just the variety, I guess, of what is considered the most popular is really surprising. I mean, me for one, as being an Australian citizen and as an Australian at heart, it's really surprising to see that Koi no Katachi is number 2. I mean, I'm not surprised that Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood is number 1. Let's be real, it's probably going to be number 1 on a lot of these countries' lists. But seeing Koi no Katachi at number 2 above Hunter x Hunter 2011 is really freaking interesting. And of course, you know, you've got a lot of your Gintamas. As you can see, in Albania it's number 1, in Algeria it's number 3, and you've obviously also got a lot of Attack on Titans, especially season 3 part 2. It's number 2 in Albania, number 1 in Austria, number 1 in Bahrain. But then look at the Bahamas, for instance. Number 1 is Evangelion 2.0. You Cannot Advance, the second Evangelion movie. Number 2 is Kokaku Kidotai, the original Ghost in the Shell. And number 3 is Spirited Away. I find that really freaking interesting, because it's like, when you look on MyAnimeList, you just think that, oh, you know, Fullmetal Alchemist, Gintama, Attack on Titan, they're all at the top. But in particular countries, that is absolutely not the case. I mean, like, for starters, if you're from the Bahamas and you're using MyAnimeList, you got some good fucking taste to put Ava, fucking Ghost in the Shell, and Spirited Away in the top 3. And then look at Azerbaijan, for instance. Mushishi Zokusho and Mushishi Zokusho's second season. 2 seasons of Mushishi are in the top 3. That is really, really interesting to me, because Mushishi is, I mean, yes, of course, an amazing anime series. Don't get me wrong, like, absolutely brilliant anime series, absolutely beautiful manga series. But from my understanding as well, it is also quite niche, for more of the better words. It's definitely not in the popularity ranking. It's definitely not the first anime you think of when someone says list an anime. Most people would say FMA, Attack on Titan, Gintama, so on and so forth. Death Note, for instance. But then Azerbaijan is like, no, we're better than that. We're more underground than that. We're an underground country, therefore our taste is also refined and underground with some mushishi. So big props if you're from Azerbaijan. And then look at Belgium. This is also interesting as well. In Belgium, the most popular anime is Macross F Movie 2 Sayonara no Tsubasa. A Macross F movie. Not only a Macross F movie, the second Macross F movie. I mean, I've seen the first Macross F movie, and it is really, really good, don't get me wrong. But the fact that that is more popular than Koi no Katachi and Code Geass 3 is, I don't know, it's just something that I never would have expected. Oh my god, and then look at Belize. Fucking Ishizoku Reviewers is at number 2. Yo, if you're from Belize, you gotta keep your dick in your pants, I'm just saying, man. But yeah, moving on to the second half of the bees. Look at Bolivia. Look at Bolivia. やはり俺の青春ラブコメ間違っているか。俺がいる Season 3 is number 1 with a staggering 9.75. That is insanely high. And then we have 泣きたい私は猫をかぶる. In Bolivia, it's like, yeah, everyone's keeping up to date in Bolivia because their number 3 is Appare Ranman. That is so interesting. Like, I never would have thought that I would see these 3. Out of all of the insanely long-running and popular anime out there that everybody else essentially so far has put into the top 3, Bolivia is like, no. Here in Bolivia, we keep up to date with everything, okay? And we understand new classics and new masterpieces when we see them. And then Bosnia and Herzegovina coming in giving some love to the classics with Monster at number 3. That might be the first time we've seen Monster, and you know what? If you're from Bosnia and Herzegovina, big props to you, because that's some good taste, my boys. And then look at Brunei, Clanad Afterstory, giving some love to Clanad Afterstory. Thank you, Brunei. But while saying that, there are a lot of countries that are kind of following the same kind of pattern here. I mean, look at Canada, Chile, China, Colombia, and Costa Rica, all giving Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood that number 1 spot. And I mean, it's really not surprising. But what is surprising is the Dominican Republic and Ecuador giving Ginga Eiyu Densetsu number 1, with almost roughly the same average score as well, and both of them have given Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood a number 2 spot. So in the Dominican Republic and Ecuador, there are either a lot of old heads out there who are trying to, you know, show the young'uns what a classic space opera is all about, or there's just a lot of very, I guess, open young people who are willing to be like, hey, I heard about this thing called Legend of the Galactic Heroes. Apparently it's the greatest anime ever made, and they're right. Let's give some love. You know what? It may be a 30-year-old anime, almost a 40-year-old anime at this point, but fuck it. Good shit is good. But then, as I say that, we go back to the story that I told at the beginning of this video. Finland over here, so far, has not really given a lot of love to Weed. I mean, then again, Weed was definitely more of a popular manga than it was an anime adaptation, so maybe the manga is a lot more well-known. I mean, I feel like if you guys want to see it, because I'm also interested to see it, I'd be willing to see what the manga list is like on MyAnimeList as well, because you can also list off manga over there as well. So maybe, if we do this again, but for manga, we might see Weed at the top for at least Finland. So if so, then that would be very interesting. But my god, Georgia loves their Gintama. Holy shit. Gintama, and Gintama Enchosen. What can I say, man? Georgia has a very good taste when it comes to comedy anime. But then I've also got to give some love to the folks over in Guatemala. Because, yes, they might have given Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood that number 1 spot, but they got Owari Monogatari 2nd season and the 3rd Kizuna Monogatari movie out there. Yo, I need to go to Guatemala, apparently, to be with my Monogatari brethren. And then look at Hong Kong, Saint Seiya The Lost Canvas Meiyo Shinwa 2. I've never even heard of this movie before. I mean, I know Saint Seiya the series, I know the manga series because it's quite an old classic on Shonen Jump, but I've never heard of, I assume it's a movie, but it's, and they've put Gingayu Densetsu there as well, and Sangatsu no Raion 2nd season. Wow, Hong Kong as well has got some fucking refined taste over there. Good shit. Look at my boys over at Iran as well. Clanad Afterstory, Howl's Moving Castle, and Spirited Away. Man, you Iranian folks, you definitely love your Ghibli, your wholesomeness, your wholesome anime series. I see you. I see you. You got a heart over there, Iran. And then Iraq is just making sure to let you know that they're also a massive fate head. I mean, Type Moon is all the shit over there over in Iraq, apparently. And yo, you folks over in Jamaica, gotta keep your dick in your pants, bro. Ishizuka Reviewers, number 1. Really? And then the 3rd Madoka movie as well. Wow, that's, alright. Yo, hold on, never mind. Look at Kuwait. Literally, the 2nd Madoka movie, the 3rd Madoka movie, and the 1st Madoka movie. But look at the scores that they've given. They've given the 2nd Madoka movie a 9.9448. That's literally a 10. That's basically a 10. Round that shit up to a 10. Actually, all 3 of these have been rated at least a 9.9. Man, Kuwait, there's something about Kuwait and the Madoka series, apparently. I mean, hey, hey, Madoka creators, if you decide you want to make another Madoka movie, sell that shit to Kuwait, dude. They'll eat it up, according to this chart. And then Latvia is just in Digimon Wonderland, apparently, because we have Digimon Universe Apply Monsters, Digimon Exros Wars, and Digimon Adventure Tri-6. 3 Digimon movies that, not gonna lie, I wasn't really much of a Digimon kid growing up, so I have no idea what the fuck these movies are, or I guess they're movies, maybe some of them are TV series, I don't know, but apparently the Digimon craze is still very much alive over in Latvia. And then, ooh, Maldives coming in with Hajime no Ippo New Challenger. Ah, Maldives, you like your boxing, huh? You clearly are into your action, considering that FMAB and Shingeki no Kyojin Season 3 Part 2 is up here, so you like your boxing, huh? Alright, I see how it is, Maldives. I see you. What's more surprising to me is the fact that there are just so many people from so many different countries who are utilizing MyAnimeList. Like that, like if anything, like this list just goes to show me that anime really is loved all over the world. Like this isn't just Asia or just America or just Europe or something like that. I mean, it's literally all over the world. It's crazy to see this. Like it really just goes to show that how much over the last couple of years, or at least over the last decade or so, I'd like to imagine, how much anime has just gotten out there and how much it's appealing to people from all different cultures and all different countries. Like, I never would have expected them to be fans of anime in fucking Moldova or Montenegro or Myanmar or North Macedonia, Nigeria, Nicaragua. Like, I don't know, it's bizarre to me. It's bizarre that if I go to Nicaragua tomorrow, and if I tried really hard, I could find some, like, hardcore fans of anime. Hell, I don't even know, Nicaragua might have its own anime convention. Who the hell knows? It's just crazy to think that that even is a possibility. But my boys in Nigeria gotta keep their dick in their pants, bro. Like, why? What is this? What is this? No, that is unacceptable. I will not stand for this. Oh, and then look at Peru. Peru has a really interesting list here as well. They have Yojohan Shinwa Taike at number 1, Tatami Galaxy at number 1, and then The End of Ava at number 2. That's what, like, I look at that and I think, well, you know, I'm not questioning why why these are highly rated, because both Tatami Galaxy and End of Ava are fucking incredible. I want to ask the question more of, like, why these? Why are these so popular in this country? Like, I just want to know that. Like, what is it about Tatami Galaxy or End of Ava that is so much more appealing to Peruvians than, say, the Filipinos, who have given Brotherhood a number 1 spot instead of a number 3 spot? I don't know if it has to do with, like, a cultural thing, or if it's just the fact that these particular series have been advertised more to these particular cultures and stuff like that. Like, for example, why does Saudi Arabia love the shit out of Date A Live? Like, what? Why Date A Live? Not to mention, you have a Date A Live movie and Date A Live 3 and Date A Live 2, but not Date A Live 1. No, not the only series that actually matters. It's the fucking 2nd, 3rd series and the goddamn movie that are up there. Saudi Arabia loves Date A Live, I swear. But again, the majority from what I am seeing right now is Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood, any Gintama series, the big movies like Koi no Katachi, Kimi no Nawa. Obviously, every now and then you'll see some Steins Gate, you'll see a lot of Hunter x Hunter. And then what's interesting here is that, say, in Syria, for example, you have Death Note at number 3. Now, it's really interesting because you'd think that a well-known series like Death Note would be a lot higher on the list, right? Like, for example, when I did my top 100 anime list according to people on the internet, this was years ago, by the way, links in the description if you want to check that video out, I'm pretty sure Death Note was, like, almost at the top. And yet, when we split it up into different countries, it's not so much the case. It really is not so much the case. Like, for example, Thai people really love Planet After Story, and Trinidad and Tobago can't keep their dick in their pants. But approaching the end here, we have Ukraine with Arya the Natural at number 3. Why? What? Why? Why Arya the Natural? I mean, look, Arya wasn't bad, for lack of the better words. It wasn't exactly a bad anime, but at number 3, I'm not too sure about that, man. Like, the score is so close to Steins Gate that it's kind of worrying how much Ukrainians love Arya the Natural. I don't get that, man. But then we go over to some of the more bigger places like the UK and the US, for example, and you know what? It looks pretty much how I expected it to look. Except for the fact that the US apparently loves Gurren Lagann. But, I mean, I'm not really surprised about that, because I swear every time I have gone to a US convention, there's always that one hyper enthusiastic Gurren Lagann fan. Like, at every convention, at every panel I've done, at every signing I've been to, there's always that one overly enthusiastic Gurren Lagann fan, and it's really surprising, but also pretty cool because it just goes to show that as long as you can make a really good anime that just sticks with people's heads, it doesn't matter how old it is, right? Like, we've noticed that from just the amount of countries that have given love to, say, Legend of the Galactic Heroes. Like, Uruguay has given it a number 2 spot, and Venezuela has just straight up said, yeah, it's better than FMAB. Like, I don't know what to tell you. It's just good shit. But all in all, again, it's just been really interesting to see, I guess, what each country does consider the best. And despite, you know, some of the oddities out there, the majority of countries, or at least the majority of users all over the world that does use MyAnimeList, have pretty much unanimously given love to series like Attack on Titan, Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood, Hunter x Hunter, Gintama, and the movies Koe no Katachi, Kimi no Na wa. Again, this might not be the most accurate representation of what these countries actually do consider the best or the most popular anime in their respective countries. Of course, every person, regardless of gender or country or origin or anything like that, has their different personal tastes, right? Like, just because you have 2 Albanians in the same room, it doesn't mean both of them are going to say that Gintama, Attack on Titan Season 3 Part 2, and FMAB are their top 3. But I think what's really cool about this piece of data that MyAnimeList has so graciously given me access to is that it really kind of at least paints a nice general picture of what each country might be into. And I definitely do think that, you know, anime industries, for example, can use this piece of information and I think use it to their advantage in some way, right? Like, I think it'd be really cool to know that, say, if you want to make, you know, a reboot of the Mushishi series, then the best place to probably sell it to get results would be maybe Azerbaijan. You never know. Of course, that might be completely wrong, who knows, but at least it gives, you know, a clue as to what each country does consider the most popular and the most famous. But yeah, I just find it really interesting that literally every country has just a completely different view on what is considered good anime. And I think that's kind of exciting to see. The fact that, again, not only have there been just so many different cultures and countries that have come together unanimously to just be like, you know what, even though our differences in what is considered good anime might be slightly different, just the fact that we can come together and be like, hey, you know what, at the end of the day, regardless of what you put as number 1 or number 2 or number 3, we can all agree anime is cool shit. And I think that's basically the message that I want to give in this video, is that, you know, like, represent your country, first of all. If your country was on this list, then I'd be really interested to hear what you think about what your country supposedly has given the most popular anime spot to. But also, you know, I guess let me know your thoughts about the differences in the list as well. I think it'd be a really interesting discussion to have in the comments. I want to give a huge shout out to the folks over at MyAnimeList who have given me access to this top secret data. And right now, Bookwalker has also ranked the top series from around the world on their global website as well. Until December 26th, get 35 to 60% coin back on series that made it on their list. And if you're a new customer, you can use my coupon code TheAnimeMan to get 600 yen off your purchase. Every person who uses that code helps me out, helps Bookwalker out, helps the industry out, helps to spread the love of anime all over the world and beyond. So if you're interested in that, make sure as well to go down to the links in the description below. Also, thank you to Bookwalker for sponsoring this video as well. And again, if you guys want me to do this again, work with MyAnimeList to kind of create one of these for manga this time, because I think that would be also really interesting as well, then smash like on this video, give me a like, let me know down in the comments below, and also try and harass me over on Twitter if you haven't yet, because I love to be harassed there. But anyways, guys, hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you in the next one. Like your favorite if you enjoy, subscribe for more anime banter, keep watching anime. Ciao!